Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is Leslie and today I'm sharing a video with you that I'm making for the Paper Issues design team, and it's for a challenge called What's Going Down, so you can interpret that however you want to. And you'll see that I'll talk about that in a while. You'll see that I was fussy cutting out of one of the pattern papers from the Carta Bella spring market collection. And yeah, I'll be using some of those little flowers. So with this video I'm doing something different. I left in a lot of the process that I would usually cut out, but I sped the video up 4 times. So it is going to be a bit longer, the video, because I did leave in a lot of my process, how I made or how I painted and so forth. So you'll just yeah, enjoy the process, I suppose. So what I'm doing here is I thought I would replicate or try to replicate one of the little flower pots in the collection, the little brown ceramic pots or terracotta pots. And I just went in there with my Inktense pencils, Derwent Inktense. They are the best pencils and I love them. I've been using Derwent for years and years and years. I don't think I'll ever convert to anything else. So I just loosely freehanded drew the little flower pot there, and I'm coming in with some different colors, some yellows, some ochres, some burnt siennas, and some amber colors as well, and some darker browns. And I am basically eyeballing this. I'm trying to see what it'll look like in my mind's eye without the water. And then when I do bring in the water, I can see where I need to add more color and which color I need to add, like for instance, more brown or more yellow or and so forth. And you'll see that I am using my little water brush there. However, I am not using the water in the chamber. I don't feel comfortable using it, but I like the thin bristles and how pointy the brush is, so I'm just using it the good old-fashioned way. Yeah, so I'm just going to carry on doing this, and then you'll see how it takes shape in a little bit. But let me tell you a little bit about the bit I showed you right at the beginning of the photo when I tore off the paper. I have been mural painting for a nursery here in Dubai. I've been painting some of their murals for their walls just to make the nursery a bit more interesting for the kids and interactive and colorful. And one of the things I'm painting is a little bit of the Little Prince. And I drew a sort of just a little example of what I thought I would be using, and then my son got hold of it and he drew his interpretation of what I was drawing. He's 10, so that's quite a good drawing for a 10-year-old. And then on the next page, my daughter, who's 6, drew her interpretation. So yeah, so that's what that is all about. So what I wanted with this layout, I wanted to create a lot of my own embellishments that went well with the layout, with the collection at least. And I haven't watercolored in a while, or I haven't done any painting in a while, and I thought to myself, let me get out my mixed medias and do some painting. And I am liking what that looks like. It looks similar to the little water pot there. You'll see top left hand corner of the screen. I just put the sheet up there so that I could have an example of what the water pot or the little flower pot looks like. So, and that's good enough for me. It's not perfect. It's not, you know, perfectly symmetrical or anything. I mean, you can see it's hand drawn, but I'm happy with that. Now, I did paint this on watercolor paper, but I don't know what was wrong with the watercolor paper. It is shocking, and it started disintegrating, and see how the water seeped through the back of that bit over there. So I was not happy with this watercolor paper. I did stick my pot onto 2 more sheets of that thick watercolor paper just to give it some more just to yeah, make it a bit more sturdy and to get rid of the warp. that was in it. And here you'll see I'm bringing in those little fussy cut flowers that I've showed you right at the beginning, that I fussy cut from that page. And there's loads of them. They're really tiny, so they're easy just to use as little sprinkles or sort of confetti, flower confetti all over your page. And that's something that you can also always do, excuse me, with when you fussy cut out teeny tiny little bits, use them as confetti. And so what I'm doing here is I'm just auditioning or certain bits of the chipboard accents, just to see if which ones I like, which ones I don't like, where I could put everything. And I don't end up using that vase with that vase with the flowers. I don't end up using that, but I do end up using some of the elements that I pulled out there. At this stage, I still don't have a photo. I just have this idea in my head of what I want to do. And I went onto my silhouette, and I looked in my library, and I wanted to cut out one of those poppies, have a poppy cut file, but I don't have a poppy cut file, and I'm not going to go buy one. So what I decided is I'm going to make my own. So you'll see there, right above my hand on the white sheet of paper is one of the little poppies that I cut out from one of the pattern papers that I fussy cut, and I just drew the outline. I just drew a little bit here and there, and sort of made my own interpretation of what I was seeing and what a poppy could look like. So I am going to make my own little poppy cut file, and I'm going to go in with my craft knife and just cut around the edges, cut around the bits that I think could offer some dimension and some differentiation. And yeah, on the top left hand corner of the screen, you'll see that there is another poppy that I did cut out, that I made first, and I was planning on using that one as well. However, I messed it up with the coloring. You'll see a bit later on, and I don't end up using that. So I didn't think putting that in the video, me drawing it and cutting it out and all of that would, it's a waste of time in the video really if I'm not going to use it for this video. But I might use it for something else, and then you'll see it in something else. But yeah, I don't end up using it in this video, but you'll see me using this flower. So I hope you can see that you don't have to have a cameo. If you are creative and resourceful enough, you can cut out your own shapes with your craft knife. If you draw a shape and you just draw around the edges, and yeah, you can cut out your own shape, your own cut file that you end up backing, and that's it. And people, I drew that, I cut it out with my craft knife, and look at, it looks like a cut file. So there you see, I keep on bringing back that other poppy flower that I don't end up using, but I just, at this stage, I thought I would still use it. I wanted that flower pot to look quite full at the top. So I'm just choosing papers here that I thought I could use to back those poppies, those little flowers. So I'm going to use this pink with the geometric pattern on. It's really beautiful, and it's a very soft pink. It's almost like a salmony, peachy color. It's beautiful. So yeah, I just go in and I have to erase all my little lines because I had quite a couple of pencil lines going in there. So I think the thing is that you just have to keep in mind when you do your own cut file like this is just give yourself a lot of grace. Don't expect it to be perfect. Don't expect it to have perfectly straight lines, and allow the imperfection to become part of the art, and to become part of the quirkiness of what you are making. So here I'm coming in again with my Inktense pencil, and that was like a sort of dark maroony color. I'm not sure what's the name of the pencil, but yeah, so I'm just adding some color here to give it some differentiation, detail, and dimension, because I wanted it to have a little bit of depth. And you'll see the back petals, I am painting them darker than the petals that I will be in front, just to add to that depth that I'm trying to create in the cut file. And that pink background worked beautifully because it acted as a base color, and so the only color I actually had to add to the paper was this one pencil that I was using there. And what was surprising to me is that this Carta Bella paper held up better with the amount of water I put on it than the watercolor paper I used to make the flower pots. So I'm going to be finding my other Carta Bella papers that I don't like or that I know I'll never use, and I'll just use them to do my watercolors on in the future, because this paper was amazing. The pencil blended beautifully and it didn't warp, and yeah, so I like the texture of the paper as well. It's a gorgeous texture. If you know the Carta Bella papers, they're very thick and almost textured, and that's perfect for watercolors. So I'm just cutting around the edge of that little cut file that I made there, that I backed and did some. See, so there you see, I don't like the orange, yellowy, browny, burnt sienna, yellow ochre, I don't know what you call that color, of the other poppy that I made it there. So I just decided I'll use the one, and I'll just have it hanging, you know, hanging off the side, because poppies they sort of flop over. So, and those little sprigs I cut out from one of the sheets, the patterned paper sheets from the collection. It's got a bunch of tags on it, and each tag has sort of a botanical on it, and I just cut some of those out. And the edges of the sheet, on the edges of the sheet, the tags are cut in half, so I just used those. I didn't use the full tags because I wanted to use the full tags in another layout. So the ones that were sort of cut off, where the printing was cut off, I just used those little sprigs from those tags. And I do come in with the sticker sheet and the chipboard accents, just to add some more dimension behind my little cut poppy hand cut file there. Hand cut, I don't know what you want to call it. And here you'll see that I am going to be cutting one or two of those of those little tags in that sheet there, just to add some more interest behind that flower. There's a lot of layering on this page, and yeah, there's a lot of layering, a lot of interest, and almost like a vintagey feel to it, which I really like. And it's very yeah, very floral, very spring feel to it. So as I was putting all this together, I was thinking of a photo that I wanted to use, and I've been going through my husband's photo albums and things, and I've been finding these cute photos of him and his little sister, and I thought I would be using one of those. And you'll see the photo later on, the coloring in the photo. You can see it's an older photo. I did take a photo of the original, so I'm not going to use the original photo. But you'll see it's really cute. I mean, it is just adorable. And yeah. So here you'll see how I'm cutting the little sprigs out from some of those tags. And those are the cut-off tags where the printing was cut off on the page. So that those don't go to waste, because I didn't know what I would use those for, and I was surely not going to use that tag page for a background. So when I looked at this page, this background page as well, I wasn't quite sure how I was going to use this page. I loved it. I just didn't know how I was going to use it. And then when Paper Issues came and told the design team that one of this month's projects would be, or challenges would be, what's going down, I immediately thought of this page because of the bulk of the sort of embellished bits on the page was at the bottom. So, oh yes, and there you'll see, there I put the photo down. Just going to be sticking it down there. And I did placed it in that little flower box. That's a chipboard accent, and I wanted it to look like the photos sort of inside the flower box and resting inside it, covered and surrounded by little flowers. So, and just for safety's sake, I do glue everything down twice, 3, 4 times. I'm so scared these things will come off and come loose and so on. So, and there you go. I'm just going to come in with those fussy cut flowers and just layer them and place them around the photo and around that little flower box and so on, so that it looks like they're in the flower box. They're standing in the flower box. I did want to use some of those chipboard flowers. I got to use 2 of them, and I just didn't use the one with the lots of flowers on it. So, but yes, so I'm just bringing in some more stickers from the sticker sheet, the 12x12 sticker sheet, and seeing where I can add some more. And I wanted to use that so badly, A Perfect Day, that little sticker, but it just didn't work for me. I already had a little sticker that says Life is Beautiful, and I really liked the positioning of that. So I added that little Smiles oval sticker to the left underneath. I tucked it in some of the, underneath some of the flowers and the leaves. And that little bit between the photo and the flower pot I created was a bit open for me, so I needed to put something in there. And I loved this little wooden box, but something wasn't gelling. It just wasn't really doing it for me. So I do take it off. And then I go to the chipboard accents, and I find that little flower pot. So I think that looks much better. You know, there's a bit more continuity to it, as there are some flower pots peeking out on the right bottom of the layout behind my little flower cluster that I created there, so that there's only some flower pots on this layout. It was quite fun making this. There's another chipboard flower pot that I added just over there. Added some more adhesive behind it. I don't want it to fall off in the end. As I said, it was a lot of fun making this. I really think I should be doing more watercolors and painting like that on my layouts. I really like it, and it's very unique. I would really like to hear from you guys on what you would like to see. If you'd like to see more Stash Bash videos or more mixed media videos. And I would do my best to help you guys out with those. So please, in the comment section, drop a comment of what you'd like to see. And see you again soon. Bye.